A Michigan State University trustee under fire over comments he made about the Larry Nassar sex abuse scandal. This as survivors of Nassar's abuse shared stories of trauma and heartache for the 6th day. Today we heard from Olympian Maddie Larson, who said she injured herself just so she wouldn't have to compete and face Nassar.
I was taking a bath when I decided to push the bath mat aside, splash water on the tiles, get on the floor, and bang the back of my head against the tub hard enough to get a bump. So it seemed like I slipped. I was willing to physically hurt myself to get out of the abuse that I received at the ranch.
The last week of the Larry Nassar case has been supposed to be at least all about the victims telling their stories here in court. But the comments of a Michigan State trustee have some wondering, is MSU even listening?
You were never a real doctor. You did not heal me. You only hurt me. You stole my light, Larry Nassar, and I am now taking it back.
The survivors of Larry Nassar's decades of abuse are finally being heard. Their voices louder and stronger with each story told, each second staring down the predator at the other end of the courtroom.
I want to forgive you, but I also want to hear you tell me that you regret all the hurt you caused. Thank you.
Today, more than 24 survivors told stories of abuse that caused Nassar to openly cry. After 6 days of victim impact statements, he is expected to be sentenced tomorrow. But while stories of trauma and terror were shared, a Michigan State trustee was making comments of his own that will likely incense survivors. Yesterday, in an interview on Lansing radio station 7:30 AM, trustee Joel Ferguson reaffirmed his support for school president Luanna Simon.
The meeting we had the other day was 5 hours, and talking Luanna was 10 minutes. We had so many other things we were going over, and we unanimously decided in that meeting right away that Luanna was going to, we were going to support her staying as a president, because there's so many more things going at the university than just this Nassar thing.
Ferguson went on to say that Simon should remain as president because she's a prolific fundraiser for the school.
When you go to the basketball game, you walk in that the new Breslin, and the person who hustled and got all those major donors to give money was Luanna Simon.
I think that is perhaps the most insulting thing that has come out of this man's mouth. This Nassar thing to him, well, this has consumed my entire life as well as hundreds of other women here.
Morgan McCall was sexually assaulted by Nassar for years, starting when she was only 12. She's been in the courtroom since last week, supporting others abused by Nassar.
Do you know how many hours I've spent in court this week? How many has Joel Ferguson spent in court?
Ferguson also bristled at the suggestion that the NCAA should investigate and possibly penalize Michigan State, as it did with Penn State over Jerry Sandusky's abuses.
This is not Penn State, and this is they were dealing with their football program. I do not see and they're smart enough to know they're not competent to walk in here on this.
Wow. Well, I think that is sexism at its finest. Perhaps he should learn to keep his mouth shut.
Now, by the numbers, this scandal is actually worse than Penn State. They had about 30-some victims. The Larry Nassar sex abuse scandal has about 150. Now, in response to Ferguson's comments, 2 of his colleagues on the Board of Trustees have responded, Brian Wasallam and also Trustee Lyons, saying that they spent much more than just 10 minutes talking about Luanna Simon and the Larry Nassar scandal. It was the better part of their almost 5-hour meeting. Also, Mr. Wasallam tweeted, "We have come across as tone-deaf, insensitive, emotionless, and it infuriates me." We're live in Lansing tonight. I'm Ross Jones, 7 Action News.
Ross, thank you, and many will second that.